Welcome back to Card Fellas. In the middle of a four-part series. This is part two of a vintage card collection that I recently purchased. And today we're going to be talking about the baseball cards. So the last show we did was on the basketball. This is baseball. I've got a football show coming up. And then there was another box that I found that actually had some of the star cards in it. And that was completely separate from everything else. And that's how I'm going to present it to you as well, is kind of in this other box with that stuff. So four-part series. Today is going to be baseball. Last week was basketball. The next show will be football. Then we'll kind of show off some of the better cards. Again, this collection was shown to a dealer first. A dealer got first dibs on everything. So I think the really good stuff ended up getting pulled out. But here's some 75s. Couple of Hall of Famers there, but mostly just kind of commons here. But they are super cool. This is kind of a set that is just infamous for the design. I mean, when you see these, you know what they are. They're the 75 Topps Baseball. Super, super cool design on these. You know, they're not in awesome condition, but there's some decent ones in there. And these commons sell pretty well. That one there is pretty creased up, but they're very cool. And to me, it was just kind of an opportunity to add some of this stuff to the collection. So those are the 75s. There wasn't a whole lot there. For the 76s, there was about, I don't know, 700 or 800 cards there for the 76s. And again, mostly commons. I think it's a Roy Smalley rookie. He's kind of a big guy around here in Minnesota for the Twins. And you can see a Bob Boone in there, Willie Randolph, Goose Gossage, Bobby Bonds, Joe Morgan there, Phil Niekro, Keith Hernandez. This is a Keith Hernandez rookie. You notice he doesn't have the mustache yet at that point. But I'm a big Keith Hernandez guy back from his days on Seinfeld. But again, mostly commons here as well with the 76s, but just kind of a really cool design. It's cool to look back and see some of these guys from back in the day and just see some of these designs. Most of that, again, the star power was taken out of the box there. Let's take a look at the 77s now. That's an Amos Otis rookie card. Not worth a ton of money, but it has a little bit of value. A couple of those in there. And some other rookies in here too. Again, nothing super big. Most of the really good stuff was taken out of here. A couple Hall of Famers. I like Willie Randolph, was a guy that was playing some great baseball when I was coming up. That's his rookie card. I like to keep all of those rookie cup cards. So there are the 77s. And then a nice stack of 78s as well. A couple of stacks here. I think we probably looking at, I don't know, 1,200 cards here in the 78s. And again, most of these are going to be commons, semi-stars, and some kind of just minor rookies. Dwight Evans, Jim Rice is a Hall of Famer, Dennis Eckersley, another Willie Randolph, couple of Willie Randolph cards, Lou Piniella in there, Whitey, George Foster, John Candelario was a heck of a pitcher. This was the Pirates' heyday. I mean, that's when they were won their series, and they were just kind of a machine at that time. And Dave Parker and Willie Stargell and all those guys. I think there was a Jack Morris in here. I don't know if I went over it or not, but I believe I did see a Jack Morris rookie in there. More Keith Hernandez. Again, no mustache at this time. We'll get to the point where he's got a mustache. But this 78 set, if you notice, it looks just like the 1980 Topps basketball. And you can go back into our show archives and see the show we did. I actually think we might have done a show. We've done a show on both the 78 Topps baseball and the 1980 Topps basketball. But the exact same design for both sets, which is kind of funny. The team cards look exactly the same. Obviously, in basketball, they printed them on paper and they were big. But the cards themselves, the design is exactly the same. Now, these are the 79s. Manny Mota's a Hall of Famer. Another Willie Randolph card. Bruce Sutter, rookie. I think that's a Carney Lansford rookie. He won the series with the A's. Steve Garvey, Tony Perez, Jim Cott is going into the Hall of Fame this year. Got some rookies here. The Reds. I just kind of threw out. I like these rookie cards. I think it's kind of funny. You know, the cards are all in color, and then they did these rookies in black and white, and they look much older than they are. There's Dave Parker and Rod Carew. Two of the just really, there's a Nolan Ryan strikeout leader there. Ned Yost, Brewers prospect, ended up being the manager. Well, they were pretty good. Mark Fidderich, big time arm. Pete Rose, Ron Guidry, Lou Brock, season and career stolen base record. Of course, that would not last. Ricky Henderson beat the season one pretty quickly and ended up winning or taking over the career one. I believe that was in 1990 when he broke Lou Brock's career stolen base record. George Foster, Jim Rice, Ron Guidry, Terry Kennedy, another guy who ended up becoming a manager. Just some other rookies in here. But the 79 design, super cool too. When you see it, you know it. Frank Tanana. Of course, they had those team cards in there as well. All right, here's the 1980s. And these 1980 Topps cards, a lot of these cards, when I pulled them out of the boxes, they were just in shoe boxes. And these cards were actually in a set box. Obviously, they didn't make a factory set then, but someone built the set, and these cards were in amazing condition. But again, they were showed to a dealer first, and the Ricky Henderson card, which is the card to get in this set, was not in there. But there actually were quite a few pretty good star cards in there. Jesse Orosco, rookie. And again, these guys are not big stars, but Keith Hernandez, and now he's got the mustache. And he would kind of go on, Dave Winfield, to be known for that mustache. Nolan Ryan. Lou Brock, Willie McCovey, Manny Mota, Pete Rose, Dave Parker, the Cobra. Love that guy. Keith Hernandez with the mustache. Mark Fidderich, Jim Rice, Hall of Famer. Jim Cott going in the Hall of Fame this year. Goose Gossage. I think that's a Dave Steve rookie. Again, not in the Hall of Fame, but probably should be. What else we got in here? These are just some more kind of common rookies. But a pretty good stack of 1980 Topps, and those were in really pretty fantastic condition. You know, some of the older cards were, I would say, kind of more like EX, and these, I would say, are definitely EX plus, pushing, some of them would probably push into near mint. All right, so now we got some 81s, and Ricky was in there, but this was a really good stack here. This is probably close to 2,000 1981s, and they were in very, very nice shape. There's a Ricky, there's a Nolan Ryan in there. I'm going to push these. These are just commons. We'll push those back over there. You got the Rusty rookie, and that's kind of one of those kind of urban legend style cards where people just like that one because of the name. Steve Stone, great pitcher, ended up being Harry Carey's broadcast partner. Hey, Stoney. You got Steve Carlton, Don Sutton, Raleigh Fingers, Dan Quisenberry on there, George Brett. You got the Phillies, Johnny Bench, another Pete Rose, Mike Schmidt. And a lot of the star cards were left in here. George Brett, Mike Schmidt, and Reggie Jackson on the same card there. Another Rusty rookie. Tim Raines rookie. And if it wasn't for Ricky Henderson, I think Tim Raines would have been a much, much bigger name. But just played in the shadow of Ricky Henderson. Because Tim Raines was An excellent leadoff hitter as well. Stole a ton of bases, but unfortunately for him, he played in the same era as Ricky Henderson. It's another Steve Stone, Jim Rice, Tony Perez, Carlton Fisk, Carl Yastrzemski, George Brett, Alan Trammell. So a bunch of Hall of Famers there. Eddie Murray, maybe one of the best switch hitters of all time. Dave Winfield, Ozzie Smith. There's some more Raleigh Fingers, more Hall of Famers there. So this stack of 81s actually had a lot of the good stuff left in it. Pete Rose, Steve Carlton, Dave Parker, Tony Payne. Now this is kind of one of those cool cards. Not any like massive star power, but all three of those guys had really good careers. Ferguson Jenkins, Tom Seaver, Johnny Bench, the Hawk, Andre Dawson. It's his birthday today. I think he's 68. Gary Carter, another Tim Raines, Don Sutton, another Fernando Valenzuela, Mike Scioscia on there as well. It's a pretty good card, eh? Keith Fernandez, Paul Molitor, another Ned Yost, Phil Niekro, Dale Murphy, Joe Niekro, Joe Morgan, Rod Carew. So just a ton of Hall of Fame guys, and just some more rookies here. Roy Smalley again. Kind of get into some of the more common stuff in here, but a lot of good stuff in the 81s. Fun stuff. Again, nothing like massively valuable, but just kind of some cool stuff. I like these team cards too. You know what's interesting? I've noticed going through a lot of these sets, a lot of these teams will have actual team photos where they all stood around and got a team photo. Almost every season, the Cubs are photoshopped. So they must not like taking team photos. Like, look at all these other ones. They all took a photo and they used it. But the Cubs, if you go back all the way back into like the upper 70s, they're all photoshopped too. All right, so that's kind of the 81s. But here's kind of something cool that I kind of didn't really even look at. These were more afterthought things, but these are the cards. These are Twinkies. So these were in Twinkies packs in the mid-70s. There's a bunch of them down here that are pretty rough. I actually saw a couple Nolan Ryans in here, but they were just really kind of nasty. There's a Johnny Bench that's all beat up. Rod Carew all beat up. But there was a handful of them here at the top that were still in pretty decent shape. Winfield, Garvey, Reggie Jackson. And these things actually are pretty valuable. I was surprised. A lot of these should sell for like $10 a piece. So pretty cool stuff there. Not in great condition, but okay. But these things here are in immaculate condition. And there's not a ton of demand for these, but there isn't a ton of supply either. So there's a handful of these online, but not a ton of them. And there's some good stuff in here. Pete Rose, Rod Carew. I think there was a couple other bigger names. There's another Mark Fidrich. Lou Brock. There was 2 Lou Brocks in here. So these will actually be really nice. Some of these sell for, there's another Rod Carew, for like $25 a piece. Again, they're not like super fast sellers because there's not a ton of demand, but the collectors that are out there for these things that want them are willing to pay for them. So pretty cool stuff. That's the baseball collection. The next show will be football, and then I'm going to show you a box of stuff that was in there that was kind of off to the side. And I think what happened was the collector kind of went through this himself, put some stuff to the side, and some of the better stuff is in there. A lot of the cool stars that are missing in what we were just looking at are in there. So I'll show you that last. But I hope you're enjoying this kind of look and trip down memory lane as I go through this vintage collection. Again, it's not hyper vintage. We're not into the 60s, but it's a lot of mid-70s up into early 80s. 81 was the latest baseball in this. In the football, the stuff that we have, a lot of the stuff starts like around 72, 73, and it ends in 82. 82 was the last stuff he had in there. So we'll show you that next. Hope you guys are enjoying the channel. Please subscribe and check out our podcast. It's the Card Fellows Podcast over on Apple Podcasts. Take it easy.